But I still maintain that after 4 episodes, I think the show's pretty good. It's very, I find it to be a very enjoyable half of television.
Yeah. I would be the same. I still, after 4 episodes, I think it's the best of this is the best of every new Kurtzman era Star Trek stuff that we've been given so far.
Totally.
Like in and of itself, I think it's the most consistent and it makes the most sense and it works the best.
It tells, say what you want about the characters or whatever, they tell the best stories. I mean, they tell the most Star Trek-y stories. Yeah. It's like I feel like hardcore Star Trek fans who have been asking for a more return to older form, it's sort of a monkey's paw situation for them, because this is the most traditionally structured of the new Star Trek shows, but the style is very much not of the old Star Trek shows. So it's interesting to look at it that way, as being a lot more faithful to the traditional structure, while also being not faithful at all as far as how the characters are portrayed and how Starfleet's portrayed. And if I mean, it's difficult for me to, I don't know how you watch this and get hung up about like protocol. Yeah. You know, I don't want to get into that stuff again. We kind of talked about that stuff last week a bit, but it's just, I mean, I find it to be a fun half-hour cartoon that takes place in the Star Trek world. Yeah. It's actually written pretty well.
Yes. I think it's I think nuts and bolts wise, it's got the best story structure out of everything that they've done to this point. Like, things pay off, things make sense, things end up in a place where it's like there's a beginning, middle, and end. You can clearly define what's happening. You could I'm
gonna make people really mad. I would argue that this is the best first season of Star Trek outside of TOS.
Good, yeah. It probably will be.
I look forward to your letters.
No, I wouldn't disagree. It's too bad we don't rate the new shows at this point, because it probably would end up there. It's funny because we're doing it with Enterprise now. It's consistent, but it's like the other side of the Enterprise angle, where Enterprise is like consistent and it's always slightly subpar in its first season. Lower Decks is consistent and it's slightly above par, or like what you would expect out of it. So that small difference probably does end up with booting it ahead into like a top tier first season.